I want to thank everybody for your letters of encouragement, your emails, your comments during my absence. And I really appreciate all the support, and it's the only reason why I continue to make videos. Um, I just saw a short thing on the internet about North Korea, about two reporters that went into North Korea and just wanted to find out what's going on there. It's kind of like a crazy country, and so their curiosity got the best of them. It was a big challenge to get in, but they finally were able to get in. And I've seen other clips and news programs about people that go into North Korea, and it really always astounds me because of the phenomenal capability that government has in which to really brainwash the people and use propaganda as such an effective tool to control, manipulate, and really devastate the country without the people revolting. Well, also they're probably very fearful of losing their lives. But then I think, well, God, that could never happen to me, could it? I mean, if I was born and raised and grew up in North Korea, would I have that same experience of thinking the great leader is a godlike descendant and has remarkable powers, and all things should be devoted towards him? And of course, absolutely, I'd be, probably the same way. I'd have that same conditioning and that same obedience. And taking it into the Western world, we have this illusion that we're free, that we're not. We have the ability to do what we want, when we want, how we want, and things like that. This the democracy illusion, and I think that's also a very. It's not as oppressive, but it's such an effective form of brainwashing. The whole two-party system, and growing up as a child, you're just constantly bombarded with the belief that America is the greatest place to live, and that you're free, and it's democracy, and all these things. And when reality, uh, someone wrote on one of the comments, I think in the Escape the Matrix video, that freedom is an illusion. It's not even possible. And sometimes I wonder if we just don't have, if it's not just better to have a kind of a resignation and acceptance that this is the circumstances, this is the situation in which we've been born in, and that we should just accept it, adapt it, and use it to the best to our advantage. And stop all these things of this pursuit of, I want to be free, I want to be happy, I want to be at peace. And reading books, the self-help books, or like Eckhart Tolle, has been a great help and inspiration, but only to a point. There's a glass ceiling above our heads that it's just we cannot escape. We need to put food on the table. We need to have certain material possessions, and we need to survive in the system. And so much of our energy is wasted wanting to be in this kind of a fairyland, this utopia that just doesn't exist. And so I think we create even more suffering because we want life to be different. We want ourselves to be different. And we want the situation to be different. And it creates all this inner turmoil which causes suffering. And if we say, okay, no, these are the cards. I'm not going to be free. I'm never going to be free. I'm always going to have to adapt my personality in order to survive in the culture and the system that I live within. And accept that, and then be smart about it and utilize it to your best ability. So why I say things like these self-help books and all these types of different religions and stuff have a glass ceiling, because in the reality they don't address the core issue. And the core issue is that life, we are born, and it's the nature or the path is to extract our life energy from the powers that be. And it's not a conspiracy. You find this in the animal kingdom. The ones at top extract the the food. They'll steal the food of the lower ranking animals, and it's just the cycle of nature, Darwinism, if you want to call it. And it's not, oh my God, it's a conspiracy and it's horrible and everyone's out to get us and blah blah. That's just the facts. And when we accept those facts and say, okay, what can I do? Because the key is to empower yourself and to stop blaming the government, stop blaming life, stop blaming your employer, stop blaming Western civilization, and start taking responsibility for your life and find out, what can I do to improve my situation? Because I really don't think this whole idea of true peace and nothing bothers me and everything's okay and love to everyone is not possible in the majority of our life situations. One, because of our background and our culture and where we come from, how we were raised, and our imprinting as a child and as young adults. And secondly, people look at, there was a comment about Eckhart Tolle. Someone wrote, "Oh, I wish I could be just like him. He just seems like he has everything. He has it all together." And of course, it's going to be a lot easier for him than you or I, because you or me, because he doesn't have to grind away at a job. If he never wanted to work again for the rest of his life, he has that ability. He is surrounded by the situations and people that he chooses. And we don't have that luxury. We have to grind out a living. We have to go and deal with the boss, deal with traffic, deal with all kinds of things. So it's easy to glamorize other people's situations and say that's where we want to be. There was another great book that I was reading called Outliers, and it talks about people that in their life situation, like Chinese farmers and their rice paddies, and all that entails in keeping up and maintaining and growing rice. I mean, I never realized it was such a labor-intensive, exacting, almost like a science. You had to do everything just right, and they were some of the hardest working people. And then we wonder why the Asians are so good at math. Well, they have this work ethic ingrained in them from a very, very young age. And so where we come from, we have to look at our history and the cards that we've been dealt with and say, okay, these are the cards. How can I make it the best? I'm never going to be great at mathematics. I just don't have the discipline or the self-sacrifice to pursue something with that kind of intensity. But what am I good at? What can I do? I'm never going to be a millionaire because maybe money is not something that is that important to me. But what can I do to better my life situation? And I think we need a dose of reality. We see people on TV, oh, I want to be like them. We see, famous people. We see, read books like Eckhart Tolle, or see people that we think are enlightened. I want to be like them. And we really need to wake up and say, okay, let's be realistic. What are my skills? What are my tools? What are my abilities? And where am I? And where can I go from there? And when we stop raising the bar so high and accept our situation as is, and that we are, yes, to a certain degree, we're slaves. It's just a matter of what degree you're a slave. And say, okay, well, what can I do? Well, I can radically simplify my life. Possibly not have children. That would keep things very simple. Find something I'm passionate about, a job I love, and take the risk and have the courage to move in that direction. Because really the only way to achieve greatness is just to find something you're completely passionate about, that you totally love, and dive into it wholeheartedly. And once we do that and we start slowly shifting, we think, oh, we need to make a radical change, and that's not the case. If you take a ship and you change the rudder, and you're sailing for Hawaii, for example, and you change the rudder only a few degrees over thousands of miles, you'll end up in a completely new destination. And I think it's that slow, steady, consistent, progressing approach that will get us to the place that we want. And when we stop trying to take control and own all these things that are just uncontrollable and that are not under our influence, and we just have this acceptance and empower ourselves on what we can and do, and realize, yes, we're conditioned, we're brainwashed, we're not free. That's okay. Where do we go from here? It's kind of like an exciting new place to be. Thanks for listening, and once again, I really appreciate it. Thanks for all your comments and support, and have a great day.